Repeated collapse warnings. Is it an exaggeration or a reality? Let's see, in less than 5 minutes. It is not hidden from anyone today, the volatile market situation we are living in, as Nasdaq has not recovered from going down from the beginning of the year until now, and going down in the so-called growth stocks is a noticeable drop, and the Fed is playing with the markets as it wants with inflation and interest figures and others, so it is no wonder in such situation. You see, the largest asset management company that manages funds the size of countries and its name is BlackRock advises individual investors to direct their investment portfolio from growth stocks to value stocks, as growth stocks will be more affected by high loan costs and inflation, which affects the company's profitability. BlackRock's advice may actually suggest a fear of the markets, but it is not as shocking as the advice of one of the most famous writers in the financial world, Robert Kiyosaki, owner of one of the best-selling books, Rich Dad Poor Dad. Kiyosaki predicted that the dollar would choose a lightning crash, and the only way to protect yourself from the next dollar collapse, he said, is the cryptocurrencies as Bitcoin, Ethereum, and others, as well as gold and silver. These allegations of Kiyosaki are certainly big allegations, so you must be wondering, what is the evidence that the dollar will collapse? Dear viewer, the answer is simple. The US national debt has risen terrifyingly, in addition to the policies that USA is following to get rid of inflation and debt, he says, are bad. For example, despite the Fed's statements and its work to reduce liquidity, the Fed took a debt estimated at $45 billion, so it is not surprising that Robert Kiyosaki he said that we live in the largest bubble in the history of the world in real estate stocks, commodities, oil, currencies and others, and he expects the possibility that the future will be a Great Depression with excessive inflation. When you hear such words, you will think that you should get rid of your investments and go to the safe havens that Kiyosaki talked about, but be patient, dear viewer, because this is not the first time someone like Kiyosaki gives warnings. In fact, Kiyosaki was talking about the market crash prior to 2016 like what you see here in this article. I mean, if you had listened to Kiyosaki's words at the time and had already sold your investment, you would have lost more than 200% profit with the Nasdaq package, for example. You must know, dear viewer, that every year you will find someone, whether he is an expert or not, who will tell you that the markets will collapse, and these are the indicators. Talking about the collapse is always a lot, and the truth is that one day I assure you that a collapse will happen, and it may be a huge collapse, and this is a very natural thing, which is the cycle of the economy and it happens from time to time, but the smart investor is the one who takes advantage of opportunities until the last moment and does not sell because he is waiting for the collapse, but even he takes advantage of the collapse and the crises themselves. As the great investor Peter Lynch said, he is one of the most successful investors in history. He said that people lose more from the expectation of the collapse than from the collapse itself. Think about it, if you don't sell during a crash, you really don't lose anything, and Peter Lynch gave us the gem of thinking during such periods. When he said, almost everybody on this planet has the brain power to make money in the stock market. The question is whether you have the stomach for it and whether you're willing to do a little bit of work. Those are the key elements. And at the mention of major investors who benefited from the crises a few days ago, I read the news that Warren Buffett took advantage of low prices to add new company shares to their portfolio in a sector considered growth, although they indicated that the growth shares will collapse. But if you want to know about this company in the next episode, write to me in the comment and of course subscribe and turn on the bell to know when I upload. If you like the episode, don't forget to support us with a like. Rashad, the presenter of your program Hit the Road to Fire, was with you. See you soon.